The dumbass voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
Public housing in particular was created not for poor black people. It was created for poor white people. And in fact, for the first several years of public housing, people of color couldn't even get into public housing projects. They were essentially segregated by race. Only poor white folks could even live there. And then what happened is the government created some new programs under the FHA program, the VA loan program, later on the GI Bill program, which allowed those same white folks who had been poor and struggling to leave public housing and to leave urban areas and to hustle it out to the suburbs where only we could live, or to the smaller towns where only we were going to be welcome. So what's interesting is that the hood became the hood because only people of color now were allowed to live there. White folks were literally being subsidized by the government to move to the suburbs. The white middle class, and make note of this, was built by government. Government programs that underwrote those loans because those families could not have afforded a loan otherwise. They were able to get one because the government underwrote the loan and guaranteed the loan in case of default, but only for people of color. Only for white folks. People of color, by and large, couldn't get in on any of that. So white folks were able to move, people of color were not. Certain neighborhoods deteriorated economically, other neighborhoods went up in value. At the very same time, the government was doing what they called urban renewal, which meant they came through black neighborhoods and Latino neighborhoods, and they built interstates right through the heart of the community, right? Knocking down black homes, black apartments, knocking down black-owned businesses all around the country. Between 1950 and 1970, about 1 in 5 apartments or houses lived in by black folks was knocked to the ground for economic development purposes, even though people of color couldn't benefit from almost any of that economic development. So that's how our communities come to look the way they look. But if we don't know that, and if I don't tell my daughter that, but maybe, let's say I don't tell her because I don't know. What if I don't know the history? What if I don't do this work and therefore don't know the answer? What do you think my daughter is going to assume is the answer?
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from. Now, a lot of MAGA supporters have now been calling out the black community to come and work in their farms. Now, they have been threatening to do something bad or evil if the black community and the black nurses are not going to respond by coming to help them pick blueberries and save their farms from going bankrupt. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Okay, this is what we're not going to do. We're not going to turn this into a racial thing because poverty is blind. Poverty affects everybody. Especially in this economy right now, there are more and more people that are needing to lean on programs like the food bank to get assistance. They're needing to get stuff, and then you're going to go in and start saying that this particular group doesn't know how to be poor. That's just wrong. You see, that's the kind of stigmatism that puts on people that, well, I can't, ask for help, or people become too proud to ask for help. If you need help, ask. There is so much assistance out there. Please, if you need help, the food bank is here. There's many churches around. There's many organizations that will lend you anything. They'll give you food. Some will even help out with rent assistance, electrical assistance, utilities assistance, anything. Stop making this about race. This has nothing to do with race. It needs to stop.
I have advice for white people. And no, I'm not racist. I'm not gonna, I hate white people. No. I love y'all. So listen up. This is advice, and it might hurt. It might not, be the best advice you've heard, because the truth hurts. You know how, so many different racists commit different crimes. They come and take your jobs. They come and, you know what I'm saying? What about the race that controls your ass? What about the race that's above you, that controls everything? That's a Middle Eastern race. Are y'all okay with being cucked like that? Y'all okay with being controlled, manipulated by another race while being racist towards other people? I don't think. Control your own country first. Control your own country first. And then you can talk about people coming and taking your jobs, committing all of this crime. You don't even control your own country. A Middle Eastern people do. And I'm not talking about the Arabs. They got your asses on a leash, literally on a leash, which is good. Be proud of it. Be happy about it. Admit it. Admit it. There's more honor to admitting it than to just deny it. No, they don't control. Are you being racist? Are you being racist? Is that all you can say when the truth is pointed out? Oh, but you want to hear about other races. We can talk shit about the Muslims. We can talk shit about, the blacks, but not your bosses. Your boss? No. Hey, they're not our boss. Yes, they are. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we can talk shit about y'all, but not about them because they're the boss. Just admit it, Just admit it. Because if you don't, you just look pathetic. I'm sorry.
I'm fucking crashing out. So I get an email this morning from my work being like, so we put in the incorrect bank information because I just started working there and this is gonna be my first payment. Like, oh, we put in the wrong bank information, so sign into the app and fix it. Otherwise we have to mail you a check, which is gonna take an extra 2 weeks. And I can't sign in the app. I've tried everything. I've tried every username, password, whatever. I went into work today. It's not letting me clock in. I know sometimes they won't let you clock in for 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes for my clocking time. I tried clocking in, didn't work. I tried clocking in at the regular time, 4 o'clock, didn't work. So I started thinking about it, and then I'm like, wait, did they tell me the wrong... I think I wrote down the wrong day. I think I'm supposed to work tomorrow and not today. So I went to the manager. I'm like, am I working today? He's like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, but while I'm here, it won't let me sign into the app. He's like, oh, you have to put this in front of your username. I did, and it's still not working, so I can't fix my payment thing. So my younger brother drove me to work because I don't have a license. My younger brother drove me to work, and I call him. It goes straight to voicemail. I'm like, great. So I have to call my older brother. Hey, can you come pick me up? He comes to pick me up, and then I got home, and my younger brother's like, why didn't you call me? I said, I did. It went to voicemail. He goes, oh, yeah, I blocked you because you were annoying me. And then I asked my dad, what are we having for dinner? It's one of my least favorite meals. He said, oh, we're having pasta, chicken, and vegetables. And I'm like, great, fabulous. He's like, oh, well, I thought you weren't going to be here tonight because I thought you were going to work, so I didn't make burgers tonight. I'm like, okay, well, did you buy me a microwave meal at the grocery store? Because me and my siblings are old enough that we can eat something else that my parents don't make. So my dad usually buys me a microwave meal in case I don't, because I'm a picky eater, in case I don't like something he makes. I said, oh, did you get me a microwave meal? He said, yeah, I got you beefaroni. I said to him, I told you 1,000 times I don't like beefaroni. And he said, well, that's all they had. But then why did you get anything? Anyways, this has been the worst day of my life. It's 1,000 degrees outside. I don't know what I'm gonna have for dinner. I should be getting paid almost $700 that I'm not getting in my account. There's something on eBay that I've been looking for, that I've been really wanting for a long time, and I'm scared someone's gonna buy it because it's such high demand before I can... I need drugs.
So, if you haven't heard already, which I'm sure you probably have if you're on social media, about the lynching of Trey Reed and the hanging of Corey Zukatis. No one can tell me these two things aren't connected. And let me tell you a thing about white supremacy. Now, Corey was white, Trey was black, and he was hanged. Black people, we don't hang ourselves. We don't put ourselves out for a public hanging. That's not real. There's a debate going back and forth whether or not he had broken limbs or bruises or lacerations. You don't need those for foul play. So I'm not going to sit here and believe the racists that are like, oh, nothing happened. You can't see any bruising. Many ways to get around that. If you think that racists haven't perfected a way to get away with being racist, I don't know what land you're living in. So here's the issue, and white people need to wake up to this. White supremacy does not give a shit about you. They just want to use you to hurt us. But what do you think happens if we're out of the way? They're coming after you. These people see certain types of white people as undesirables. Okay. Corey Zukatis was killed the same day as Trey Reed, both hanged within a 2-hour traveling span of each other. Both of them. That's Klan activity. Okay. Corey Zukatis was unhoused. Now here's what I've experienced. I mean, I'm Black, Indigenous. My whole life I've dealt with racism. I deal with it all the time. So I'm a low income household, so we go to pantries to help us, food pantries to help us through. One of the food pantries I went there was a white man sitting there. He must have been unhoused, by how he was set up and everything. He was sitting there doing a Heil Hitler, mumbling all sorts of racist stuff under his breath, right? And then when he walked by me, he said, "Get the fuck out of my way." Super triggering, absolutely. I'm not about to get into it with people like this, especially in a racist fucking world where who's going to be supported? Come on. But also, like, I'm not doing that. But he was unhoused, and he's doing Heil Hitlers. But he was unhoused and suffering and in poverty. So today, I just came back from a store. I can't say names. I don't think that's legal to do. But I came back from a store, a budget store, we'll put it that way, and there was a visibly unhoused white man in front of me, and he had holes in his jacket. He was very, he had a lot of like dirt on him and everything, and he had a scent to him. Obviously, he didn't have access to things. And I was feeling really bad for him, and I was like, I was going to get him something to eat. So I was trying to make eye contact. He looked at me with this like stank face and like huffed and turned around. So I'm like, all right, buddy, like I really was just, I wanted to help you, right? But could it have been racism? Most likely, right? And so here's the thing. Someone came from behind me, like going past my side. I'm like, you a little too close. There's so many places around the store you could have gone around. I don't know. But because the unhoused guy was in front of me, I'm so upset about this right now. I'm making this video because I'm so upset about this right now. It's just so upsetting to me. This guy came by with an air freshener. This man was still there. And as the man was walking out the store, he got something for himself. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Obviously, something to eat or something. Like he needs whatever he needed. I could also tell that his hand had been like crooked. And I don't know if it was like neurodivergence or he was hurt, but his walking was a little impeded as well. This person who worked at the store followed this unhoused man out the door with an air freshener. You could have waited until that man was gone. It was so deeply upsetting to me. It's so fundamentally upsetting to me. I don't give a fuck if this guy was downright racist. He's still an unhoused person he's struggling. He doesn't have shit. Like, look at me funny, dude. Like, I wanted to feed you, right? And here's this other guy who comes out. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. Leave this person with some fucking dignity. Whoever the fuck they are, that's whatever. It is what it is. But he's unhoused. Like, how dare you? You have the privilege to a shower. Because let me tell you, having access to a shower is privilege. I spent after fleeing domestic violence, 2 years of domestic violence, I spent the past year in homeless shelters. And I'm going to tell you something, it's not it. But, oops, I'm dropping things. But the way this country and a lot of the world treats the unhoused is horrifying. I've experienced it myself. And I'm not someone who had to live, I didn't live on the streets, but homeless shelters are no picnic. If you think they are, I don't know what the hell to tell you. There's a lot of corruption and abuse in those places as well. So, but this person was unhoused, had no access to showers, and he was being walked out of the store with an air freshener behind him. And here's the problem. And I've seen this. It's not the first time, but white supremacy is dug deep in white people to the extent of those in poverty, like white people in poverty, white people who are unhoused, take these qualities on. It's fucking heartbreaking to me. It's heartbreaking to me. And I'll tell you why, because they're feeding this monstrosity that comes after my life and the life of those I love and the life of people, all black and brown people, minorities. It's feeding into this harm of us when they're being harmed by white supremacy too. White supremacy doesn't give a shit about these people. They don't give a shit about white people of poverty. They don't give a fuck about white people who are unhoused. Because where are they? Where's the KKK coming to pick up the white unhoused people? Or coming to help people, white people in poverty? It doesn't exist. It doesn't fucking exist. And this is something that white people as a whole, you need to understand. They don't give a fuck about you unless you are one of the few white male cis het billionaires. They don't give a shit about you. They don't know your name. They will never know your name. They don't give a fuck about you. Now, the KKK members and the Klan members and the neo-Nazis who get together and pretend they create community, you're not. You could die and they don't care. You don't understand. Like these little pockets where they're like, we're a community, you're a community, and most of you are in poverty. You don't see a problem with that? You don't see a problem with the white billionaire. We're not keeping any fucking money from you because we are sure as shit don't fucking have it. And the successful black people who have a good amount of money, they had to fight tooth and limb to get up there, and they still have to deal with fucking racism. Black people aren't keeping you from success. Rich white people are. There is a very finite group of white men who are keeping you from this, and all of their circle who's entitled to benefit from them. The white women who are entitled to benefit from them too, who feel entitled to all of this too. Those are the people who are keeping you from things. So like when I see white people in poverty who are like, who adhere to these ideals, it's really sad. It's a sad thing because I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Trey Reed was hanged, and all of you who support white supremacy are part of this. And if you're in poverty and you're supporting white supremacy, Corey Zakatis was killed. If you think that wasn't related, if you don't think this was Klan activity, this wasn't racist activity, you need to pay attention because they don't want unhoused people. They want to kill homeless people. You are closer to your fellow person than these billionaires who want you dead. You need to realize that.
Let's keep it all the way up, man. The only thing this country ever gave black people on purpose that was specifically for them was slavery. You know what I'm saying? Food stamps and white Jesus is for white people. They gave that to y'all. Y'all tried to give us white Jesus, but food stamps was made for y'all. The whole welfare system, all those sides specifically was made up for y'all. Because if it was made for us, they would have either never gave it to us or they would have been took it away. You understand what I'm saying? So make that shit make sense. That's my last time talking about that shit.
TikTok supports white supremacy, and they convinced a bunch of poor white people that were on welfare and SNAP that they were in fact not poor and on welfare and SNAP, that they were just temporarily going through some hard times and they didn't need help, except for this help. And these people who are also struggling because of what this administration is doing, who also use those benefits, have convinced themselves that they're not like the others, therefore are encouraging the suffering of the people they consider poor and lazy, while at the same time encouraging their own suffering, because their ideology will not allow them to see that they are the same. How crazy is it that politicians have convinced poor people to be against poor people because that poor person is lazy, and you're not like that poor person as a poor person?
So let me help you out with something here. You cannot defeat classism unless you defeat racism in this country. I'm going to point you in a direction for you to follow. You need to start with where the colonizers came from, and then start working your way back to here, time-wise, looking at the different classes of people who have immigrated here, how they were treated when they first immigrated, and then slowly became accepted to maintain the status quo prior to their immigration.
Well, America, the idiot in charge has spent the tariff money. He has spent $3 trillion. Where was it supposed to be? It was supposed to be in the bank. It was supposed to pay off our debt or give us a check as a tax return. I don't know. But he admitted himself in writing that he has spent the money. If he's forced to pay this money back, it will plunge the United States into the greatest recession or depression we've ever seen. You voted for him. Most of you voted for him 3 times. He spent the tariff money. On what? God knows who. He spent the tariff money and now can't pay it back. I don't know. How could we have known that? 5 bankruptcies? 2 failed casinos? Who can fail at a casino?
Hello brothers and sisters, I do really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from. Now, when black Americans or the black folks were complaining about the difficulties they were going through in the US, people really didn't want to pay much attention to whatever they were saying. When they came out to protest against brutalities that were taking place and which were directed to them, most of the people felt like the black folks were doing or they were going too much. Now, years have gone by. Just in 2024, the black community tried to signal the rest of the world that something was not right in the US, that the US was going to the wrong direction and the people were going to suffer. Who did listen to them? Absolutely nobody. Now, we are living in 2025. You all been seeing the things that have been happening to the United States of America and across the world. American economy is falling apart as per economists around the world. You can see their GDP per capita. You can see how much the people are complaining. Now, one thing I learned about political science is that when Socrates said good governance doesn't just come with acknowledgement from speech of the state, but by what the people or the subjects say about the same. Now, let me explain this to you, that the economy should be felt by the people. Good governance should be felt by the people and not those who govern, because they have the absolute power to manipulate everything around them, that they live in a perfect world according to them. They do not go through struggles that the people go through. So when they write their speeches, they write their speeches as if the world is perfect, just as how they view the world. Now, Socrates argued out that you must be very careful when you are in power, because your argument of a good economy depends with the people you serve. It depends with the subjects. And this means that the people are the one receiving the action. They are the one receiving bad governance or good governance. So they stand a better position to say it themselves and not you, who is the perpetuator. Now, most people, around 60% of the people in the US at the moment, feel like the economy is becoming hard and that the US is not becoming better or bearable for most of the families. Basic commodities, basic human rights that everyone needs to survive. You all need the basic needs in life. You all need food, water. You all need these things, housing. But as it looks, groceries in the US are becoming a benefit or a privilege because most of the people can't afford it. What is a good economy while the people are complaining? Why will the government continue insisting that the US is doing better after inflicting tariffs on most of these countries? Most of them, around 80% of these countries, are actually retaliating by giving back tariffs, slapping the US with tariffs and high taxes. I've seen a situation where Namibia slapped the US visitors or Americans who would love to travel to that country with a high fees to get a passport to travel there. Now, this only tells you that the good or the cordial relationship the US has been enjoying with most of its allies is going down. Didn't the black community warn you about this? Absolutely they did. Most of the people ignored it, as usual. Now, we are in 2025 and everyone is seeing this. Everyone is seeing that the economy is collapsing, it's falling apart, that the government is not in good position with most of its departments, or the government and the House of Representatives are not in good terms. See the government shutdown affecting everyone in the US. Key services have been interrupted in the US. Is this a country most of you wanted to see? Absolutely no. Most of the people voted for whatever they termed as making America great again. Do you make a country great by shutting down the government? Do you make a country great by affecting the farmers? Now, the soybean farmers who used to sell their produce to China can no longer do that. It is 2025 and China has resorted to work with Brazil. Now, that tells you a lot about the global dynamics of economies. Now, if the economy of the US really depends on the people and its allies, then for this one time it has failed terribly. We must be very careful how we transact with the political business in every 4 years to come. You might be wrong today about your candidate, but you can get it right next time. Don't vote out of emotions. This is whatever happens. This is the result when you vote using your emotions instead of your intelligence capacity to resonate with the policies at stake. Brothers and sisters, if the US was to be compared with its match, China, Russia, you can see that China is now doing better in Africa. It's now doing better in other parts of the world. Their economy is steadily rising. And with the time, most of the economists around the world suggest that China is going to beat the US when it comes to GDP per capita. This is a warning to one of the greatest countries that ever existed. But with the ignorance of some of the few people who think that voting for a guy or voting for someone just because you hate the other is going to help you. See where you found yourself today. Do you really want to see this continue going on, or will you want to stop it one day? Brothers and sisters, we've been called names. A lot of those who made good decisions have been called names. It doesn't really matter what people say about your choice. It matters when your choice fails the people. And this is whatever happens when you have bad taste for leaders. I do not know why us as human beings we continue making the same electoral mistakes even after the Constitution reinstates our right to vote. But do you think we can still come around and beat this? Do you think we can go around and come out great? I do not want to see a failed United States of America, because our brothers and sisters live there, because it's a land for everyone. We want to see a united America. We want to see a functioning America. I'm very grateful that people have now started realizing that they made a mistake. And how about you make it right in the coming elections? How about you unite with your brothers and sisters instead of crying online? That's the only way you're going to make it. That's the only way you're going to make yourself great. No politician will make America great. Believe me not. You, the people who are watching this video and who have no idea of whatever is happening at the moment, are the ones who are going to make your country great. Thank you so much for having taken your time to watch this video. Brothers and sisters, do not forget that the unity of the people, the unity of the minority, is a threat to the majority. And the unity of the people is a threat to the world order and to the world system. Be very careful how you transact today, because you need your brothers and sisters. You need them today, you need them tomorrow, you need them forever. Do not stop uniting. Do not stop thinking because someone told you they are going to make you great. Thank you so much.